You have been feeling it in the marrow of your bones. A heavy, shimmering stillness that seems to follow you from room to room. You wake up at 3 in the morning, not with anxiety, but with a strange, crystalline clarity, as if the very air in your bedroom has been charged with a current you can't yet name. You look at the clock, and the numbers pulse with a familiar rhythm. You look in the mirror, and for a split second, you don't recognize the person looking back, not because you are lost, but because you are becoming someone far more ancient than the name on your birth certificate. This is the season of the great hush. For years, you have been a warrior. You have fought the narcissists. You have wrestled with the shadows of your lineage. And you have scrambled to find your purpose in a world that felt like a desert. But something has shifted in the last 72 hours. The urge to explain yourself has died. The need to defend your reputation has evaporated. You are entering a state of quiet awareness. And I am here to tell you that this is the highest level of spiritual warfare you have ever encountered. Do you feel that pressure in your temples? That isn't stress. That is your third eye adjusting to a new frequency of truth. Do you feel that sudden, overwhelming need to sit in total silence, even when the world is screaming for your attention? That is your soul retreating into the tabernacle of the Most High. The symptoms are undeniable now. You find yourself dropping mid-sentence because the words suddenly feel too heavy, too clumsy for the dimensions you are now inhabiting. You go to the grocery store and feel like an alien observing a primitive species, watching people scramble for things that no longer have any value to you. You might feel a physical fatigue that sleep cannot touch. This is because your DNA is being recalibrated. You are being unplugged from the chaotic, frantic grid of the matrix for the first time in your life. The fight or flight response that governed your nervous system for decades is beginning to go cold. It's a terrifying peace, isn't it? It feels like the calm before a storm. But I am here to tell you, you are the storm. The quietness you feel is not a lack of power, it is the accumulation of it. Think about the way the ocean withdraws before a tsunami. The shore becomes unnaturally dry. The fish are left gasping on the sand. The birds go silent to the untrained eye. It looks like the water is disappearing. It looks like weakness. But those who know the laws of the earth know that the water is simply gathering its strength to reshape the coastline forever. That is where you are right now. You are in the withdrawal phase. You've noticed that your phone has gone quiet. The people who used to drain your energy have suddenly vanished or become strangely distant. You feel a sense of detachment that almost feels like numbness. But if you look closer, it's actually a profound sovereignty. You are no longer reacting to the world. You are simply observing it. You see the traps being set for you, the bait of an argument, the hook of a family drama, and you simply walk past them. You see the shadow play for what it is. You are standing in a room full of mirrors, but for the first time, you aren't looking at the reflections. You are looking at the light that creates them. This awareness is growing without your effort. You didn't have to chant for it. You didn't have to buy a course for it. It is happening because you have finally reached the frequency where the divine can take over the heavy lifting. You have spent your whole life trying to make things happen, trying to heal yourself, trying to save others. But the message today is radical. There is nothing you need to do. The shift is doing you. The light is breathing through you. Your only job is to remain in this state of high vibrational observation. Stay in this stillness. Don't try to fix the silence. Don't try to fill the void with noise or productivity. Something is being birthed in the quiet that the loud world can never understand. You are being cloaked in a divine invisibility. You are here, but you are not of here. The quiet awareness is your new armor, and it is impenetrable. Why is this happening now? Why has the universe suddenly commanded you to drop your weapons and stand in the center of the storm with your arms folded? It is because the frequency of the earth has shifted past the point of negotiation. You are entering phase 2 because the old you, the one who survived on adrenaline, the one who lived to please, the one who bled for people who didn't even know your name, that version of you has officially been decommissioned by the divine. The spiritual cause of this sudden, heavy, quiet is a frequency, lockdown. Think of it as a celestial software update that requires the hardware to be powered down. You cannot receive the new codes of sovereignty while you are still running the old programs of struggle. The universe has recognized that you have reached the threshold of your endurance. You have proven your loyalty to the light through years of isolation, through the fires of betrayal, and through the cold nights of the soul where you begged for a sign and received only silence. That silence wasn't abandonment, it was training. It was the vacuum being created so that the true power could rush in. You are vibrating at a pitch that the matrix can no longer track. In the spiritual realm, noise is a sign of friction. High-level celestial beings do not shout, they command through presence. When you were doing things trying to manifest, trying to heal, trying to force doors open, you were still operating within the laws of the third dimension. You were using your human will to push against a wall. But the quiet awareness that is growing in you right now is the sign that you have graduated to the law of non-resistance. You have moved from the work to the flow. The reason you feel like you have nothing to do is that the divine has taken over the battle. There is a specific spiritual law at play here, the law of divine substitution. This law states that when a chosen one reaches a state of total surrender, not a surrender of defeat, but a surrender of trust, the Creator steps into the physical shoes of that person. The battles that used to exhaust you are now being fought by legions you cannot see. The arguments you used to lose are being settled in high courts of heaven while you sleep. You are being moved like a piece on a chessboard. Not because you are a pawn, but because you are the royalty that the entire board is designed to protect. You might feel a strange ringing in your ears, a high-pitched frequency that seems to oscillate when you are alone. This is the sound of the veil thinning. You are literally hearing the machinery of the unseen world. You are being tuned like a fine instrument. If you were to jump back into the hustle, if you were to go back to the doing, you would snap the strings. The universe is forcing you into a state of holy indifference. This is the spiritual cause of your lack of motivation. You aren't lazy, you are being insulated. You are being protected from the frantic, lusted, low-vibrational static of a dying system. Every time you choose not to react, every time you sit in that quiet awareness and realize there is nothing you need to do, you are actually dismantling a piece of the matrix's architecture. Your peace is a weapon. Your stillness is a virus to the system of control. The enemy operates on loosh, on the energy of your emotional outbursts, your fear, and your desperate attempts to fix things. By doing nothing, you are starving the beast. You are cutting off its oxygen. This is the secret place mentioned in ancient texts. It is a vibrational frequency, not a physical location. You have found the entrance. The spiritual cause of your current state is that you have finally stopped looking for the door and realized that you are the door. You are the portal through which the new earth is being anchored. You don't need to build the kingdom, you just need to be the ground upon which it stands. The awareness is growing because the light is finally strong enough to shine through the cracks in your brokenness. Those cracks aren't flaws, they are the outlets for the glory that is now manifesting in your life. Stop asking, what is next? And start realizing that what is next is already here. It is sitting in the chair with you. It is breathing your air. The shift is complete. The integration is what you are feeling now. You are becoming a living monument of divine will. Now, we must look at what is happening in the shadows around you, because as your awareness grows into this quiet, immovable mountain, the world around you, the matrix, the narcissists, the energy vampires is beginning to fracture. They are reacting to your stillness with a desperation they cannot hide. Have you noticed the sudden, frantic energy of those who used to control you? Have you felt the jagged edge of their voices when they realize they can no longer pull a reaction out of your soul? The enemy is terrified of your in silence. In the world of the Matrix, everything is built on hooks. They throw a hook of guilt, and you are supposed to bite. They throw a hook of chaos, and you are supposed to panic. They throw a hook of not being enough, and you are supposed to work yourself to exhaustion to prove them wrong. But now, they are throwing their hooks into deep, still water, and they are coming up empty. You are no longer hookable. When you move into a state where there is nothing you need to do, you become a black hole for their manipulation. Their tactics require a reflection. They need your anger or your explanation to sustain their own false identity. But when they look at you now, they see a mirror that is too bright to look into. They see a void where their power used to live. This is why the narcissists in your life are suddenly acting out in bizarre, almost comical ways. They are glitching. They are trying to reboot the old version of you by poking at your old wounds. But the wounds have turned into scars of gold. The people who once benefited from your overdoing, those who sat back while you carried the emotional weight of the entire family, the workplace, or the relationship, are now sensing a shift in the atmosphere. They feel the quiet awareness as a cold front moving in. They are scared because your stillness is a judgment without you ever saying a word. Your presence alone is exposing their lack of substance. You don't have to point out their lies. Your frequency of truth is making their lies feel heavy in their own mouths. Do you see the patterns? The sudden emergencies they create to get your attention. The passive-aggressive comments designed to make you doubt your peace. The hoovering attempts to pull you back into a cycle of doing for them. They are reacting this way because they have lost their source. You were the sun in their solar system, and now you have moved into a different galaxy. They are shivering in the dark, trying to lure you back with the same old ghost stories. But here is the absolute truth. They have no power over a soul that wants nothing. The reason the Matrix is scared of you is that you have stopped wanting the things it uses to enslave people. You don't want their validation. You don't want their seat at the table. You don't even want their apology anymore. When a chosen one stops wanting, the Matrix loses its terms and conditions over your life. You are literally breaking the contract of the 3D world. The enemy is watching you sit in that chair, staring into space, or walking through nature, and they think you are lost. They whisper that you have given up. They tell people you've changed, but you aren't lost, you are found. You aren't giving up. You are giving over the battle to the divine. They are terrified because they cannot fight a ghost. They cannot attack a frequency they cannot reach. Your power over them is now absolute, because it is no longer your power, it is the power of the silence. You are the eye of the hurricane. Let them spin. Let them scream. Let them plot. The more they react, the more they reveal their own bankruptcy. You are simply the observer, the divine witness, watching the old world collapse under the weight of its own shadows. You have already won the war by refusing to show up to the battle. We must now descend into the bedrock of the truth. What is this quiet awareness actually building? It is the fulfillment of an ancient design that was written into your spirit before the foundations of the world were laid. You are not just relaxing, you are undergoing a transfiguration. The theological reality of your life is that you have moved from the time of testing into the time of governance. In the celestial courts, there is a specific decree over the chosen one. It is the decree of finished work. Most people spend their lives in a state of trying to become holy, trying to become successful, trying to become worthy. But the deep truth of the quiet awareness is the realization that you already are. The universe is not waiting for you to do something. The universe is waiting for you to realize that it has already been done. This is the Sabbath of the soul. It is the seventh day of your personal creation, where the Creator looks at you and says, "It is good." You have been conditioned by a fallen world to believe that value is tied to production. The Matrix tells you that if you aren't moving, you are dying. But the law of the kingdom is the exact opposite. In the kingdom, the highest rank is held by the one who can sit perfectly still in the presence of the king. The nothing you need to do is not an invitation to passivity. It is an initiation into divine authority. When you stop doing, you start being, and when you are, the elements of your life begin to rearrange themselves to match your internal state. Think of the prophecy over your life. You were told you would be a leader, a healer, a lighthouse. You thought that meant you would be busy. You thought it meant you would be on a stage, or writing books, or saving the broken. But look at the great architects of the spirit. The sun does not struggle to shine. It does not work to hold the planets in orbit. It simply sits in its burning center and is the gravity that keeps everything from flying into chaos. That is your new job description. You are the gravity in your lineage. You are the fixed point in your family tree. The metaphysical explanation for your symptoms is the merging of the timelines. The version of you that was a victim, the version that was a black sheep begging for a scrap of love, has collapsed. That timeline no longer exists. You are now standing in the eternal now. In this space, cause and effect are instantaneous. This is why you must be quiet. Your thoughts are now so potent, your vibration so high, that the universe is protecting you from yourself by slowing you down. It is teaching you how to wield the power of command through silence. There is a divine plan for the resources, the connections, and the peace you have been seeking. The reason they haven't arrived yet is that you were still trying to fetch them. You were acting like a servant when you were actually the heir. A servant runs to the gate to see if the carriage is coming. The heir stays in the library, knowing the carriage is already being loaded with their inheritance. The quiet awareness is the posture of the heir. It is the inner knowing that the universe is legally obligated to provide for you because you are its own reflection. This is the secret of the still small voice. God does not shout in the thunder, he whispers in the silence. By becoming quiet, you are finally tuning your frequency to the voice of the source. You are hearing the blueprints for the next 10 years of your life. You are receiving the downloads for the businesses, the healings, and the unions that are already manifesting in the invisible realm. The truth is this: the world is loud because it is empty. You are quiet because you are full. You are a vessel that has been filled to the brim with the golden oil of the Spirit, and any sudden movement would cause it to spill. So you sit, you watch, you breathe. You allow the awareness to grow like a vine around your heart, protecting you from the frost of the world. You are exactly where you are supposed to be, doing exactly what you are supposed to do, which is nothing at all. Now, we enter the final activation. Take a deep, conscious breath into the center of your chest. Feel the weight of your physical body against the chair, but feel the lightness of your spirit as it expands past the walls of the room you are in. This is the moment where we seal the frequency. This is where the quiet awareness stops being a feeling and starts being your permanent state of existence. You must understand the practical power of this transition. Grounding is no longer an exercise you do, it is who you are. To ground yourself in this new energy, you simply need to acknowledge the silence between your thoughts. When the world tries to pull you back into the frantic pace of the doing, your only task is to return to the breath. If a thought of worry enters your mind, do not fight it. Do not try to solve it. Simply observe it as a cloud passing through a clear blue sky. You are the sky. The clouds are temporary. The sky is eternal. The instruction for the coming days is simple. Ignore the noise. If the phone rings and you feel a no in your spirit, do not answer. If an old friend brings drama to your doorstep, do not engage. You are under a divine quarantine. You are being set apart for a glory that the world cannot yet fathom. Every time you choose silence over the argument, you are performing a miracle. You are breaking the generational curse of reaction and replacing it with the blessing of presence. Let us speak this truth into the atmosphere. Repeat these words in the sanctuary of your mind, or speak them aloud if you are alone. I am the chosen one. I am the stillness in the storm. I recognize that my power does not come from my effort, but from my alignment. I resigned from the war of the matrix. I resign from the need to prove my worth. I accept the gift of quiet awareness. I trust that the divine is moving on my behalf. Even when I am still, my silence is my strength. My peace is my protection. I am covered. I am filled. I am home. I seal this energy over you now. I speak of a hedge of protection around your peace. I command every low vibrational entity, every wandering spirit of anxiety, and every shadow of the past to flee from the light of your awareness. They cannot exist where you are going. You are moving into a season of effortless manifestation. The things you used to chase are now beginning to chase you. The doors that were locked are now melting away because the key is your frequency. As you go through your day, remember, there is nothing you need to do to earn the love of the Creator.